All right, so I think I'm going. This is going to be all about taxable scholarships. And so what you're looking at is topic number 421 from the IRS concerning scholarships, fellowship grants, and whatnot. And we're just going to I mean, it's very short and sweet, but we're going to kind of look at this just real quick. We all know that scholarships are tax free, okay? They're tax free. Scholarships are used to pay for school, pay for books, pay for your fees, all those sort of things. Scholarships can, however, become taxable when they're not used to pay for those things. And so we see here from the IRS, very short, very sweet. It says that the amount you receive may be tax free. If you meet the following conditions, of course, you have to be in school, right? You have to be in a qualified university, rather, right? Okay. And is used for fees, books, supplies, and equipment required for courses at the educational institution. All right. So again, that's going to be tuition. That's going to be any sort of school fees. They like to charge library fees and gym fees and all those things. Any books, any supplies, papers, pens, calculators, any equipment, laptops. I can't think of any other equipment, honestly, other than laptops. Maybe there's some schools out there that require some other sort of equipment, but personally, I've never seen anything other than maybe a laptop as the most expensive thing that any student will have to purchase for school. I'm sure there's some other things out there. I don't know of any other than a laptop being the most expensive. But it can be sort of expensive, right? I mean, those MacBook Pros go for, two, three, sometimes $4,000, I think. Now, no, not scholarships can be taxable, however, when the money from the scholarship is used to pay for things other than the tuition, the books, the supplies, the equipment, right? This happens a lot of times when you have a student, usually a freshman, first year in school. The university requires that they live on campus. And so their scholarship includes room and board. And if, as many of you know who have been to university, who have lived on campus, those apartments on campus are super, super expensive. Very expensive, way more expensive than an apartment off campus. And so that means that the scholarship is going to be huge to cover the cost. The tuition and books is fairly cheap for university, but it's the room and board that costs so much money. And when the scholarship is used to pay for room and board and food and those things, then it becomes taxable. And so I want to show you just really quick what that 1098 looks like. Now, for me, I've been doing this a long time, so it's just automatic when I see this, I pause, right? And I know that there has to be something going on here. So box number 1 is payments received for qualified tuition and related expenses, right? And then box number 5 is total scholarships. And so for me, what I'm looking at is if this number down here is bigger than this number up here, then I know I have some work to do, right? I have some questions to ask. And so typically, if it's a small variance, if it's a couple $100s, if it's a couple $1,000s, not a big deal. A lot of times it's not even a conversation because, like I said before, a laptop can be a couple $1,000s. But when you get into the neighborhood of 7, 8, 9, 10, $12,000 difference between those two numbers, then it becomes an issue that we have to talk about to figure out what's going on and how much of this is going to be taxable. Now, I'll just reiterate so we understand again, anytime the scholarship is larger than tuitions paid, you have what's called a taxable scholarship, which means you have to pay taxes on the money that you receive that was not paid, that was not spent on tuition, fees, and books. Okay. If it's paid for room and board, travel, other equipment that isn't explicitly required by the institution, then it is taxable income to the student. Okay. I've seen this happen in a lot of situations, especially when you have someone who, as a, what's the word? As because of their scholarship, they have to have a job on campus, okay? And I've seen a lot of situations where instead of receiving a W-2 for that job, I've seen students receive a 1098 with the amount that they made on the job included on their scholarships or grants. Sometimes that's just the way it's structured, right? They say, well, you have to work here basically for your scholarship, to pay for your scholarship. I've also seen students get 1099s from universities as part of their scholarship. I've seen students get W-2s from universities as part of their scholarships. Um, a lot of that is all about how the school and the student structures their scholarships and grants. But again, I've definitely seen it on the 1098, no doubt. Excuse me. I think that's the first time that's happened on camera in about 5 years. Um, so anyway, um, I do want to talk about how the IRS audits for this stuff. Okay, every year the IRS picks something new to really go after. I've never seen the IRS really go after 1098s. Usually the 1098s, if they get audited, they're usually audited because of something else. So if you get audited because of, business income, or you get audited because of dependents or something like that, then the agent is going to look at the full return, and then the questions may come up concerning the 1098. Also, please understand that these 1098s get filed with the IRS. So the IRS knows that you received this 1098. The IRS knows that there's a huge difference between these two numbers, and they're going to be looking for what makes up the difference on your tax return. They're going to want to know, where did you spend this extra money, right? And if it wasn't spent on, like I said, something like a laptop or calculators or something like that, then, it's going to be an issue. So in a lot of situations, I've seen it just left off of returns, okay? Because like I said before, the IRS has never really went after looking for this stuff. I've also seen where, like I said, if there's a difference between these two boxes of like a couple $100s, couple $1,000s, it's easy to make that up. Easy to make that up. You just say, hey, I spent the money on a laptop, or I spent the money on calculators, papers, pens, whatever, right? But like I said before, if there's a huge difference, right, it becomes a bit more difficult to really make up that difference. And then we need to start talking about, okay, well, how much of this is going to be taxable, or can we leave it off the return? Every situation is different, and I would need to definitely want to see everything else surrounding the situation before advising anything on this kind of stuff. But it's important to understand, because a lot of people don't know this, that scholarships can be taxable, especially if the scholarships are used to pay for room and board. I cannot stress this enough. I'm going to say it another time. When scholarships are used to pay for room and board, they are taxable. That is taxable income, just like working a job, and you have to pay taxes on that money. So when you have kids going off to school and you're applying for these scholarships and you're applying for these grants, make sure that you understand what kind of tax implications this is going to have for you. I'll tell you another thing that I've seen a lot. If you have grants and scholarships, the school is going to take all the money from the loans and the scholarships first before they touch the grant money. I've seen that. Now, to be very honest with you, I'm not sure of the laws and how that works, but that's what I've seen. If you apply for loans, scholarships, and grants, the college goes for a loan, scholarship, then grant. And what that means is you can have a grant of $50,000, but if your loan and scholarship makes up all of your tuition and fees and room and board and everything, they don't touch the grant. I've seen it happen too many times. So again, please be aware of that. Okay, the scholarships can be taxable. So understand what you're getting into. Just don't sign off on this stuff, because it does have implications for you. All right, from me to you.